Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Let's Play of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Right back here on the Normandy, getting ready to talk to our crew. We'll be doing a few side missions and head out and seek Liara. Let's get into it.
Commander, something you need?
Go ahead and give me a status report on our ship, please.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I just want to talk, see how things are going around here.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
A little bit on the defensive side, but I mean, it's probably understandable as he's probably been doubted throughout his life. Yeah, I didn't mean to insult you, man. I was just asking.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know?
Nope.
Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Froelich syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic, but I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I'm gonna tell you, apparently Shepard likes the sound of snapping shin bones because in Mass Effect 3 and Citadel DLC at the party, we're gonna be asking you to dance. By golly, you will be dancing. But it's kind of curious. I think in this first game, his issues with his disease seem to mostly only affect his legs. Is what he's referencing, and he doesn't seem to talk about it being throughout his body. Maybe it is, but so through here he's referencing only his leg. Later, it's in the next two games where he states that it's pretty much affecting everything. Which to me, I mean, that makes sense. I can't see why it would only affect your legs, but that does seem what is the case here in the first one. Tell me about that nickname of yours. Why do they call you Joker? Like going after Batman?
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
Yeah, right.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Were you unhappy?
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I take it that was you. Yeah, quite obviously, but yeah. Go ahead and tell me a little bit more about this disease.
I need to know more about this Froelich syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
Well, we're very lucky to have you on board, but I obviously he can do his job. He excels at his job. But we'll go ahead and just out of curiosity, how do you do it?
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
All right, no getting up to take a piss. You just wear a diaper. Keep your ship safe. Yep. We'll just
Not
change
trying to
topics.
make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Personal history. Does that lead into what we just had? We'll see.
How'd you end up joining the Alliance?
Look, if you're looking for an inspirational tale of the crippled kid overcoming impossible odds, you're gonna be disappointed. My mother was a civilian contractor working for the Alliance. I basically grew up on the Arcturus station back when they were building up the fleets. Spend all that time around Alliance ships, there's a good chance you'll end up going to the Academy.
Well, like I said, we're lucky to have you on board. You're the best of the best, and that proves to be true throughout this trilogy. So. Good on you, Joker.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
Yep, overcoming his infirmary. That's pretty impressive. All right, we'll speak with Presley here, see if he has anything new to say. Then I want to look over see about the email.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Oh boy, here we go down that topic again. All right. They are on our side, Presley.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, ma'am, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
What? I mean, what? I don't follow your line of thought there. Nihilus died and trying to get that beacon. But I don't quite understand why you think that ties into not having aliens on board or having them aboard. Jenkins died. I don't know. I don't follow his line of thinking here. You doubting my decisions? Let's see. Put him on check here. See what he says.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
And falls in line right quick. That's good. I'll go ahead and ask him about having aliens on board, though, more directly. Let's see what he says.
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
No, we do need their help. This is going to be a galaxy-wide problem. We need all hands on deck. No, we can use their help.
Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
No, it won't. They do give Presley a pretty good character arc. I mean, obviously, he only lives very briefly at the very opening of Mass Effect 2, but when we, find the crash site, read a couple of his thoughts that he was having, some of his logs, and you see his through this journey here in the first game, he starts to see the wisdom of getting help from all who are willing to help. I don't know if the personal question will veer into something we had asked him when we first got on board, but let's see.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were one of the first reinforcements to arrive at Elysium after the Blitz hit. Those raiders were no match for an Alliance frigate.
Nice.
Of course, the only reason the colony was still standing was because of you, Commander. I can't believe you held out as long as you did.
And now you're here, joining forces with me.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
Oh.
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Nice. Right on, Presley. I'm happy to have you aboard. Just, you need to open up a little bit about, having a more open mind about this.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get it done. You'll see. All right, let's take a look at this email thing here. Nice. Nice to hear from Anderson already. Nice little touch. I don't know how frequently we'll be getting messages. I don't have a Kelly over here to tell me I got new messages, but so I guess I'll just check it here and there randomly and see how that goes. See if there's any more codex pick up in here. I doubt it. Nope. All right, we'll head down, speak to Kaidan, the good doctor, if she has anything new to say.
Anything you need, Commander?
Looking for some input.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
You haven't talked to me yet, but all right. Any tactical appraisal?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
Yep. We did all we could.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
All right. Go ahead and take a look at our new quarters here. We now got our own room. Oh, okay, we could also check our messages in here. That's cool. I'm going to look and see about giving her some new combat armor. I want to get her in some Spectre gear now that we're actually a Spectre. None of these armors in here in this portion have any effect on stats. This is purely cosmetic. We still have to, put on the regular gear that we find or buy throughout the game. This will just, no matter what gear we put on that way, it'll look like what we pick here. Let's see here. Spectre. See what that looks like. It's all right. These are all I don't want to wear that. Spectre Sentinel. It's kind of similar to Kaidan's, which I like it. That's a good look. Spectre Ajax. Yeah, I do really like the Ajax armor. All right, that's what we'll be wearing in our mission. Is there any codex to pick up around here? Yep. Any more? No. There it is. We can replenish our grenades now. But we haven't used any, so we're good. To the doctor, see if she has anything new to say.
Whose lives are in your hands, Shepard. Try to take good care of them.
I shall. Okay, and those questions we've already
We
asked
should
her.
go.
Goodbye, Commander.
All right. So we'll now be heading down. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while with the saves. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. Like first, 4 sessions that I've recorded hasn't been an issue, but sometimes when I play the game, it does that. It takes a while, and it also I have some issues with when I first start the game. Splash screen comes up. It will take like right now before I started. It took probably 15-20 minutes before the game finally started. I'm not sure what causes that because sometimes it starts up right away without maybe a 2-minute delay. But it's frustrating when it takes a long time. Let's speak to our boy Gareth here.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
You knew? How so?
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. You have to work within the constraints of the law, but that's what makes you part of working for the law. To do so, obviously going after a Spectre, I don't think the alliance or the council is going to quite be too accommodating. As we found out, it's only when we found irrefutable evidence that they pushed this investigation further. It ain't that bad. Come on.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Yep.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But
No, it matters.
wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
That was your reason?
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
No, I get it. That was a tough decision.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this.
And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
No, that depends. If your way means just saying to hell with everything and you'll done. We ain't going that way. We'll do things right.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast.
Yep.
Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
That's all right. My understanding of kind of the ages of people here, I think Shep is like, see, and I definitely could be wrong here. This is me just basing off of what I've heard here or there or read, and I don't know for certain, but I think Shep's like 32 in this first game, I believe, somewhere in that range. I think Garrus is only like 25. It's possible Shep is only like 28, somewhere in that range though. I think Rex is like 1,000 years old, I believe, and then Tally's only like 19. I'm not sure. I think Caden also may be in his early 30s. Ash, I'm not sure. And Liara, of course, we come to find out she's a very young 105. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what Ash is up to.
Commander?
Can we talk?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I'm gonna ask you how you're doing, and let's see if you got something more to offer.
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander.
I bet.
No offense. I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
Yeah, you wish we'd been able to save everybody. I get it.
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
No, that's not on you. I'd say, this was completely unexpected out of the blue. You guys were just working on a far-off colony, probably nothing ever exciting happening out there, and you didn't see this coming. And I don't know the numbers that were thrown at you, but you're probably, outnumbered. It was just a bad situation. I'm sorry you all went through this. It's not on you.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
They have flashlight heads, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
All right. Speak to our boy Rex,
Nice ship you've got, Shepard.
isn't it?
What can I do for you?
Tell me about you, Rex.
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
Oh, she's next on the list, and yep, she's gonna. Yeah, Tally likes to talk. Let's put it that way. Especially here at the beginning of this first game, she's got a lot to say. Come on, tell me something, Rex.
You Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
None of these answers I really like, but yeah, we'll just try the middle ground here. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried the same with us, but we fought them off.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I think Shep pretty much gives kind of that answer there. I don't remember if it's the exact same, but it's pretty much it is the same attitude of where she kind of just is dismissive of it, as if like what humans have been through is anywhere close to what the genophage is, which obviously it is not. But she's a bit naive, it seems.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I think I see your point.
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I won't.
Sorry, Rex. I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
And the genophage is the whole story of that, between the genophage and the story of the Quarians, and they get like it's Bioware at its top. Like man, it's good stuff. It really is. The genophage, of course, really raises a whole bunch of ethical questions that we will be getting into throughout this series, because yeah, well, and with the Geth and Quarians, obviously, as those story arcs play out throughout and come to pretty awesome conclusions. Well, depending, of course, on what you pick. But for now, let's just see. Shepard wants to learn a little bit more about that.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected. Every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Man, that's so brutal. I can't imagine the toll that does take on them. This absolute despair. I mean, it's no wonder why Krogan are in the shape they're in. I mean, obviously they played a big part in why it all played out the way it did. But they went from heroes to villains, and to now just absolutely getting slammed with the genophages, taking its toll, man.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist? You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
No, well, don't sell yourself short there, Rex. You're gonna have a pretty big impact on the Krogan.
Are your people really dying?
As long as you
We're
live.
sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
Yep. No, man, I do really like the Krogan, though. Like their story. They're very fascinating
So long, Rex.
species.
Shepard.
And of course, Rex is just the ultimate badass, the coolest. I'm so happy to have him on board. Deal with him on my own while not recording. Don't really need to buy nothing right now. Of course, we got Adams here. We will speak to him after we speak to our gal Tally here.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The ship is very special. Turian and Alliance joint effort to create this. And cutting edge.
The Normandy's a prototype, cutting-edge technology.
Yeah.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Tally's such a such a nerd. I love her. Yep, she's way into ships.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
Man. Yeah, I think 290 years ago, something like that, 296 or something. That's pretty amazing that they're still keeping them flying, man. I mean, that's stuff from 300 years back, 1725 would be, you're still using a ship from back then. It'd be, pretty damn amazing.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about the Quarian people.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
And 17 million people is all that's left. That is pretty devastating. That's about the size, I believe, of like the Netherlands. And if that was all that was left of humanity, like, man, it'd be a little bit scary. Because obviously it is enough for a species still to survive, but man, still compared to the what are we, 7 or 8 billion people on Earth, But yeah, so they had to curb some of their civil liberties, such as what?
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births. Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
I'm gonna question that a little bit. If there's a rule of only one child, your population is then in decline. For every two people, you're only creating one. Your numbers are dwindling. You you need to at least be producing two children for every couple, just to keep at even replacement. So, having a one, your population is in constant decline. So, I do kind of question on that. That's how they're doing it, but anyway, how about the conclave?
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So you're democratic.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
This is kind of the world building stuff that I do love. It is cool that in Mass Effect 2 we actually get to kind of see how their how the life is like on board, and to a small extent, but still, it's pretty cool. We hear all this from Tali, and then we kind of get to see it. That's pretty awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and ask her about the Geth.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Tell me about it.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
Isn't AI research illegal?
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
Neural network? What is that?
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
Yeah, so is it like a hive mind?
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
Yeah, maybe Shepard ain't quite following it, because I don't think it's completely clear on how they function, especially when we know, well, Shepard doesn't know, but when we've spoken with Legion and gotten Legion's viewpoint on what individuality is and how, that But that, yeah, I mean that doesn't exist within the Geth. There is an individual. They are all just Geth, but I don't know. I think it's really fascinating. I do wish too that they would have had, because they'll speak about how they get more intelligent when they're in greater numbers together. That would have been cool if that would have been implemented somehow within the gameplay. If you hit larger groups of them, that they would play smarter. But yeah, maybe eventually in one of the Mass Effect games, the Mass Effect 5 game that'll be coming out, maybe that's what they'll do, something like that, if it'll even involve Geth. But I don't know. I just think that would have been fascinating. But I don't get it.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large numbers. As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I mean, I understand why. I mean, yeah, you. And she'll of course be going on to explain you're using them for pretty much just cheap labor to do all these menial tasks, and want to find out that they that there might be a bit more than just like your simple toaster or refrigerator you're dealing with. You might be dealing with a being with a conscience, and now you're looking at possibly in slavery. So yeah, I get it, but we'll go ahead and ask why so Tali can explain.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves.
Yep.
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first.
Man.
A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
I mean, yeah, of course they did, but that's a tough one, man. That is really tough. But yeah, I mean, they defended themselves.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Man, just time and time again of the Quarians, miscalculating, underestimating, and it all came apart. I mean, they lost their homeworld. What a price to pay. Man. Ship gonna kind of throw it back at her. It's kind of rough to do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it just to see what Tali says here.
You got what you deserved.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
Not everyone.
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
I mean, I think Tali's probably been pretty propagandized throughout her life, full of history, and there's much she doesn't know. I'm not saying the Geth were 100% right. I don't. We'll get into that more in Mass Effect 2. But Yeah, I understand Tally's point of view though too. Like, especially when you think that they did lose their home world, man. Just been absolutely struggling ever since. Like, I can get why they're, you know, pretty resentful, honestly, towards the guests. But let's ask her about our pilgrimage.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Yeah, they always accept. What if you show up with the crap, thing that's not really of value? What then?
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when the gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift.
Yeah, I would think
It's
so.
not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
Yeah, sounds like it could be dangerous.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
I think we're done here. Yep, that's all.
I should go.
See you later.
Catch you later, Ty. All right, we'll speak very briefly to Adams here and get. I don't know if we are going to make it anywhere near Liara, to be honest. This conversation has taken up quite a bit of time.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
She bugging you?
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I didn't. Huh? I think Tally can be really helpful to us.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
How about you, Adams?
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Tell me about the Normandy.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
And tell me about that drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Alright, tell me about the stealth system.
Fill me in on the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
So FTL gives us away?
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Alright. Yeah, I don't know how truth to reality that could possibly even be, though, about, did I get the codex off that? Yep. I mean, space is near, it's not absolute zero, but it is near absolute, it's cold beyond belief. And, I mean, yeah, we're capturing the heat our ship's putting off, but I mean, we got to be putting off some heat. That's just the law of thermodynamics, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm completely mistaken. It's certainly possible that I'm no expert, but all right. I mean, and it works within the lore. It's fine. I'm just questioning. All right. Head on out. Missing person. Trying to think what we'll do. A side mission. We'll look at that missing person. All right.
Commander, urgent message from Alliance Command coming in. I'll patch it through.
Shepard, this is Admiral Hackett from Alliance Command. We've got a situation here, and you're the only one that can handle it.
How can I help?
What do you need, Admiral?
There's an Alliance training ground where we test weapons and technology in live fire simulations. One of the VIs we use to simulate enemy tactics in the drills is no longer responding to our override commands. It's gone rogue.
Looks like we're already getting the mission to Luna. Also, we'll be rescuing Edie, basically. Gone rogue?
Are you telling me this computer is thinking on its own?
We're not stupid, Shepard. This is a virtual intelligence, not a true AI. It's not self-aware, and it can't access any external systems. We didn't do anything illegal here.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual intelligence support is critical to our military success. VIs process thousands of status reports and react in nanoseconds. No human can do that. We need you to fight your way through the training ground of the VI core and manually disable it.
Not the only option we got?
Can't you disable it remotely?
Our fail-safes aren't responding. The VI operates on a closed network. It can affect any external systems, but we don't have any direct access to its processes. We could bomb it from orbit, but the damage to the facility would be catastrophic. We'd prefer to have someone shut down the core. Someone like you. I know Spectres answer the Council, but you're still human. You're still part of the Alliance military, and right now we need you. The VI controls all the facility's weapons, drones, and automated defenses. You're the only one that can pull this off, Shepard. Good luck.
Alright. Dying. Quickly survey the system here. I mean, nothing more. Okay. We'll be landing there Well, okay. This is where. Oh no, I think okay. I think he's been brought down to the surface, so we'll be going down there for that. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. And so now we can land there. All right. No, it's not let me do it with my controllers. I have to pick my people with the. What the? Okay. I'll take you two. I don't know why I wouldn't let me use my controller there. All right. Well, who needs to level up? Garrus got a point. Yeah, I'll give first aid. And got nothing. I got nothing. All right. We want to look at the see if we had any decent, better armor. Still that one, but it only has one slot. And that's crap. All right. That's the only one I was really concerned about. I actually tells you there's Thresher Maul there, which I'm fine with knowing that because I'd rather not have to deal with one unless I have to. I don't know if I want to do all this stuff. We'll see. Probably should. All right. I do like how they added that. It makes it so much easier to get around. I'm gonna have to turn it down. It's a bit loud. At least on my end, it's pretty loud. Yeah. I don't think typically I'm gonna go about discovering everything. We'll see. All right. Signia. And that's kind of why I went because I do want to get the matriarch's writings because that ends up being useful with Conrad Werner little side mission in Mass Effect 3. All right. And I do have a mod that allows me to pretty much run this on infinite boost. So that'll speed this up a little bit. And it definitely will help us traversing more steeper inclines. Let's see here. What are we looking at? Yep. Dead Solarian. Am I seeing right? Yep. Dead somebody. Was killed. That spot next, we're in a cold hazards. We got to be careful. Can't stay out in the element too long. Did I miss something back there? That's where we're at, but no. I guess that's all it's marking still. Okay. Discovery. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that deposit. There, take a look at that. And then we'll go and look for gentleman's brother.
So how about it, Garrett? Is this better than C-Sec?
Fighting a rogue specter with countless lives at stake and no regulations to get in the way? I'd say that beats C-Sec.
There may just be hope for you yet.
Yet that mod that allows for banter to be stuff that typically plays in the elevators to be done in the Mako. That's pretty awesome because that's an element that actually they did get really they taking from Andromeda. That was really cool thing. Your squad mates would chat it up. I thought this was a trap. Yeah. No, man. It's a trap. I mean, honestly, with the mod that's allowed me to shoot that rapidly like that, I probably could take down the threshold pretty quickly. But, I'm in no hurry to go and test that. We will be when we do the Kahoku mission. We'll be taking on that threshold. So we'll put that to the test there. I should probably do a save. Alright. I'll have to go to the last portion here. We'll do this, and then we'll call it a session. I had hoped that, conversation on board the Normandy would go a little quicker than it did. But it is what it is. Need to talk to our crew, get to know them. And the next one, we will do 1 or 2 side missions, and then we'll go for Liara, as was the goal for this one. But they say, in the next one, we won't be talking to our crew after this. We've now done so. Man. Taking a beating here, people. Got another one. Man, that definitely does make it nice to be able to fire that so rapidly. Obviously, it makes the Mako pretty overpowered, but that's pretty cool. Alright, let's take a look at this. This is an addition, I think, from... Oh god, what mod added this? The community patch? I think so. It's added all kinds of new elements to the side missions to kind of just give things a little bit more character. Alright. Get in there. I'll get out the right weapon this time. First of all, let's get indoors though, because it's cold out here. Okay. You got out your shotgun, and well, Garrus, I'll let you get out your sniper rifle, please, sir. Yeah, there we go. All right. Oh, that's cool too. We've now got what do you call that? Batarians showing up here. Oh, that's pretty cool. What is that? I don't think that would do anything. Oh boy. How do I? Things have changed here where I'm trying to figure out how to use my Metagel now. Because with the new controller setup, it's showing LB there, but when I press LB, it brings up either the wheel or it fires off that power. I'm not entirely sure. But if I hold it, it ain't doing it. If I tap it, I'm not sure.
Form up.
Trying to figure out what else might do it. I ain't sure. With my weapon. I hold Y. Okay, so why didn't that raise up Garrus? Because wasn't that a power within Spectre Training Unity? Oh wait, I wonder if is Unity now like, is that what that is? No.
Send me back.
Okay, so that's done also like in the last two games. Gotcha. All right. My bad. Oof. He's still alive. I don't know if that's gonna land on him.
I've got a shot.
All right. Is Krogan still down? Nope. Okay. Pull this guy, please. Come on. Wreck. Yeah, thank you, sir. Alright, now we're talking. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got to get used to this new power setup. My first playthrough doing so. With this power and talent overhaul. Man, and that is something it's really tough about in this first game is people run at you wild, man. If they don't take cover, they'll just freaking come right at you.
Not my line of sight.
What?
Locked on.
Alright. Archer is dead. Close inspection reveals an insignia on their leader's armor. Battalion Special Forces. Special Interventions Unit. Looks like these weren't just freelance. Odds are the hegemony had a hand in this. Without more proof, it's hard to say for sure.
Now it gets fun.
Yep.
All targets down.
Yeah, that's definitely a new element, though, having the Batarians involved in this. Because although originally the Batarians, Bioware did have desires of including them, they ran out of time, I think, basically, and just, ended up scrapping that and just adding them to within the Bringing Down the Sky DLC. So that is the first time we see Batarians typically in the vanilla game, well, in the vanilla game with the DLC. Or in the vanilla game with Legendary Edition, of course, is in the Bringing Down the Sky. That is a good DLC. I do like that one a lot. I do have the mod for the Pinnacle Station. I'm not really a fan of Pinnacle Station, even though in the mod, from my understanding too, is they kind of make some improvements for it, but I'm not really interested in it. I have beaten it once, did the whole shebang there, and got the apartment. It was pretty cool to get that, but there's just not much story there at all, man. And so I'm not too interested in just doing a battle simulator. And there he is, unfortunately. He's got. I like that too. That they've added those that are similar to the ones in Mass Effect 2. Review the entries. All right. I'll leave that, of course, give you guys enough time to pause that and read it yourselves as well. Alright. I do have a mod as well that allows us to just go ahead and leave from here. So you can return to Normandy, it says there. But one thing you want to be sure when you do that, you got to be absolutely certain that you aren't missing out on a cutscene or something else that needs to happen within a mission that you're doing, because you will soft block yourself out from advancing. And with some of these changes that have been made to this mission, like with the Batarians, I don't know if some are waiting for us outside the door here that we need to confront. I don't think so. It doesn't seem that that's what's happening here at all. But I don't know. This is newer elements. So all right, we can return to the Normandy now. We could have, but like I said, I didn't know yet. So yep, we're good.
Must be hard for you, Garrus, knowing that the person behind all this death and destruction is a Turian Spectre.
Saren is either a traitor or a madman. Taking him down will restore the good name of Turians everywhere.
Glad to hear it. I was losing sleep over the prospect of people not loving the Turians.
Too funny. All right. see, the normal button to return isn't doing it, so I guess I'll just have to do it through the map. Alright, well, there it is. I'll see if there's any kind of email. Nope. Alright, well, that's our mission. We will do, let's see what we got in our journal. Oh, that's main missions. Oh boy, we got quite a bit here. The transignias, elements, minerals, all these good old collector missions. Rogue VI. Maybe we'll do that and then head to Liara's hostage. That's the one I was actually kind of thinking about doing as well. So we'll see. Let me get all this cleared out. All right. So here we are. I'd like to thank you for joining me. I hope you're enjoying it. I am. I wish, we could have got a little bit more action into this episode, as we did a lot of dialogue talking to our crew, but it's good to get to know our crew. We got some interesting characters on here. We got to learn. Oh, this is spoilers. Most of us, if you're watching this, already do know, but it's interesting to hear about the Quarian and the guest, the genophage with Rex and what he's dealing with. All good stuff. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you did enjoy this. I hope you'll like and subscribe and hit the notifications. This is RK Craig saying thanks so much for joining me. Catch you next time. Later.